In this video, I'm going to be getting the Platinum Trophy for Robocop Rogue City. Set in between Robocop 2 and 3, Rogue City has 28 trophies including the Platinum, so let's dive right in. The game kicks off with Joker's long lost brother known as Soot, who takes over a news station to talk about his new drug called Nuke, because what a better way to promote your product than by hijacking a live broadcast and taking hostages.
That's what I'm saying!
So we drive down to the news station, and this is where we're first introduced to Robocop. Honestly, I'd say he's more bad than Harley Quinn. When we get to the front of the station, we meet the lieutenant, who tells us that we can't enter the building until the SWAT team arrives. But during this conversation, Joker's goons started throwing hostages out of the windows, which was honestly kind of funny.
Oh my god! Oh,
so like the American we are, we massacre absolutely everyone in the building. Everyone must die. As we make our way through the building, we get our first trophy for eliminating an enemy with a throwable object. On missions like these, it's very important to stay on task and not get distracted, so that's precisely what I did. During our travels, we threw a propane tank at some enemies and were rewarded with a trophy. After accumulating 114 life sentences, we reach the newsroom where we find a torch head holding a woman hostage. However, we start glitching out and we imagine our wife, I think she is. Anyways, while we're glitching, our partner takes him out and we get our first story related trophy for completing the mission. When we return to the station, the head of security, Max Becker, starts baby raging about how we were unstable because of the glitch we had earlier. Because of this, he forces us to have evaluations with a shrink known as Dr. Blanche. In these evaluations, we are given a score and a rating on our performance on the previous level. Now there is a trophy where we need to get an A rank in one of these, but we'll get back to that later. In this first evaluation, we are also introduced to the skill tree system, where there is also a trophy tied into this, but for now, let's focus on the story. In search for Soot, we decided to head down to Snoop Dogg's last known location, as there is an extremely high drug presence in this area. While exploring downtown, I found a car parked next to a fire hydrant. What a menace to society. As punishment, and because I'm an absolute dickhead, I decided to give him a ticket. This gave me a trophy. In Rogue City, there are 3 ways of collecting XP. 1. Completing story and side missions, 2. Killing enemies, and 3. Picking up skill discs. Skill discs can be found scattered around the map in random locations. Once I found one, I was given a trophy. Our trail leads us to the arcade, where we meet some coked out teen in the toilets. He tells us that he found the drugs in the basement, and so we head down to confront the manager. It turns out that he is one of Soot's distributors, and tells us that he has been taken to a place known as the Ghost House. So after arresting him, we head down there and try to find him. But before that, there's actually a missable trophy here. For this one, we have to unlock a secret room hidden within the manager's office. After pressing a button found under his desk, we get the trophy. After running down to the ghost house, we are welcomed with more firefights. During this, I was awarded a trophy for carrying out a vasectomy with a wooden chair. After fighting our way through the rest of the house, we don't find Soot. We do, however, find a police informant, who tells us that he will be having a meeting with someone known as the New Guy at his concert. So we make our way to the concert and we find Soot. We chase him down to his basement where I'm pretty sure I heard children screaming, but you know, everyone's got to have a hobby, ain't they? Anyways, we break all of his stuff, including his teeth, and then we bring him to the meeting with the New Guy. After all the hype, we finally got a New Guy face reveal, which honestly turned out better than Dream's one. He ended up shooting Soot and also Lewis, while we were rendered defenseless because we didn't update to Windows 11. Anyways, we find out that his real name is Wendell Antonowski and he is the main villain in this game, but I see him as just evil John Wick. After returning back to the station, we get a story trophy, as well as a trophy for installing an upgrade chip in our pistol. These chips make the gun better by increasing damage, fire rate, magazine size, as well as other things. For the last few days, an officer known as Briggs has been missing. After digging through the archives, we find that his last known location was at the steel mill, so we drive down there in hopes of finding him. While exploring, we were ambushed by a new type of enemy, bikers. I decided to take this opportunity to get the trophy Live by the Bike, which requires you to shoot the gas tank on a motorcycle. After making our way through the steel mill, we find a freezer. Here we find not just Briggs' body, but also multiple other people that have been stored here. On our way back to the rest of the squad, we uncover another secret area which nets us a trophy. When we get back, we're told that a load of bikers are holed up in a nearby building, so they send me and this big ass robot called ED. However, ED turns against us and sends a police officer back to the lobby. So So now we have to fight ED, and this is actually the first boss fight of the game, and it took me about 10-15 minutes to beat because of this one attack he does. He hurls a storm of missiles at you, and you can't do anything except hope that they miss you, and it's so annoying because it completely drains like all of your health and you have no recovery charges. Anyways, that was the only bad part of the fight, and once we killed him we got a trophy. Now in this section I got quite a lot of trophies in a short space of time, so I'm just going to list through them now. So I managed to score an A rank in the mission I got previously, which got me a trophy. After that, I managed to max out one of my skills in the skill tree, which net me another trophy. And after that, I went down to the shooting range to tackle the 3 shooting range trophies. One for getting 150 points, one for getting 200 points, and one for getting 250 points. I'm just going to show the 250 point one, seeing as they're all the same. During a briefing, we find out that the OCP bank is being robbed, and so we head down there to see what's happening. Now not much really happens in this mission except more gunfights, but once we completed the mission we got a trophy for it. Afterwards, the sergeant tells us that the old man, who's the chairman of OCP, wants to meet us in downtown. He wants to talk to us about his utopia known as Delta City, where everything is perfect. So after making our way downtown and sitting through his waffle, we track Wendell to a mall where we arrest him after he tries to escape us. The cutscene plays out and we get a trophy for completing the mission. Ever since the glitch we had from the beginning of the game, Becker has been out to replace us, and so he sent us to this warehouse where he introduced us to his UEDs. Now Becker cooked these up to replace Robocop, and so he decided to send waves of robots to try and kill us. But because we have plot armor, we came out on top, and we even got a trophy for completing the mission in under 10 minutes. So because we arrested Wendell too easily and Taeyeon needs a longer story, we decided to go under the prison to interrogate him when suddenly... What? What's that? A prison riot? I would have never seen that one coming. Although I am grateful, I have to admit, because I discovered my new favourite way of killing people. To no one's surprise, Wendell escapes in of course a helicopter, and we get a trophy for completing the mission. While we were handling everything at the prison, the hospital was attacked, and so we rushed there to check on Lewis, but since she's a badass, she managed to defend herself. We take her back to the precinct, so now we have a partner back. After getting a booty call from Dr. Blanche, we head to her motel room for an evaluation. During this, someone who we thought was just the local pizza guy Sonny Jins knocked on the door, but it turns out it was just a few mercenaries that wanted to kill us. So we kill them and they commit a casual act of arson, like you do. While trying to escape the building, I found a cat in a closet and let it out, which net me a trophy. After that, like a parent who forgot to wear a condom, we send her away to military school so she can actually learn how to take care of herself instead of relying on Steve Jobs to make our iBots to keep her safe. We then make our way to the mercenaries' war room in the sewer and we find our first turret of the game. Now I knew that there was a trophy for making a turret friendly by hacking it, so I went to its control computer thingy and whatever and hacked it. After doing a bit of digging, we find that Wendell was actually hired by OCP and the person who authorized it, the old man. They really need to give him a better name. What the hell is the old man? Anyways, we decide to head down to OCP where we find Max Becker instead. It turns out that the old man conveniently died right before we were about to catch him. Reminds me of someone else. Once we leave the building, we get a story trophy. So Becker does his debut presentation since he's now taking over the company, and he starts off with a bang by presenting his robots who turn evil and try to kill everyone in sight. The future looks promising. Becker tells us that there's an EMP in a nearby warehouse which could deactivate the droids, so we fight our way over there. However, when we get there we find the EMP destroyed and Wendell holding the remote for the droids. This is essentially just the Phantom Menace as an alternate universe, I swear bro. Anyways, we chase him down but he manages to capture us. Being the main villain, he does the classic expositional villain monologue. So you see that lighter in his hand? Yeah, it turns out that it controls when we glitch. So basically we're Wendell's bitch, bars. Afterwards we black out and we find ourselves back at the precinct. While the gang are babysitting us, Wendell starts a Twitch stream and tells everyone that the police can't help. This leads to riots in Detroit. At this point we're in the endgame. This mission combines 3 missions in one. We have to save some people from a burning building, disarm a bomb, and destroy another one of those big ED droids. Once we do all of that, we then go after Wendell. I don't know why, but this reminds me of the Rocky IV training montage. This is so cool. Anyways, we chase him to a construction site where he has an army of droids and mercenaries waiting for us. So we turn into Optimus Prime and power through all of them until we finally find ourselves in a one-on-one situation with Wendell. We blast him off the edge and we get a trophy for finally killing him.
That really hurt!
While celebrating our recent victory at the precinct, we get called to the OCP headquarters as there have been reported casualties. So we make our way through the building and, just like Robo here, the old man, yeah, the one that's dead, has been reborn into a robot. So we have one final epic 1v1 against him. After a load of debris falls onto him, we decide to leave him to die, and we get a trophy for completing the final mission of the game. By this point most people would have the platinum, but because I'm a pleb, I missed a trophy which required me to do one of the side missions in the first area of the game. Luckily the game saves very often, so I just loaded up an old save and completed the side mission. After that I got the trophy and then the platinum right after. As a whole, the game was pretty good. The middle of the game I found quite boring and monotonous, but the beginning and the end of the game made up for that. The gunfights, the blood, the violence, it was just absolutely incredible. Now would I say the game is worth £35–40? I mean, considering how expensive PS5 games can be nowadays, I would say yeah. The story is a bit short, clocking at around like 9–10 hours, but I'm sure that like if you've watched the Robocops prior to playing the game, you would have an amazing time. But overall it was a really great platinum experience, even for someone who's never watched a Robocop film like me. So that was Robocop Rogue City's Platinum. If you enjoyed, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.